more than 3 decades, Indonesia was under the leadership of President Suharto, within a regime known as the New Order. This regime emerged following the collapse of the old order, promising national stability, economic growth, and social order. In many respects, Suharto succeeded in developing infrastructure, achieving self-sufficiency in food production, and maintaining political stability. However, behind this achievement lay a darker reality, one that was rarely spoken of openly at the time. Freedom of speech was restricted, the media was tightly controlled, and any form of criticism toward the government was viewed as a threat to the state. People live in fear, too afraid to oppose the decision of those in power. State institutions were far from independent, as interference from the ruling elite became the norm. The democratic system was reduced to mere formality, even more painful. Corruption became rampant at all levels, from high-ranking officials to the lowest bureaucratic ranks. Nepotism was commonplace, with power and wealth revolving around the ruling family and their inner circle of cronies. The new order promised stability, but at the cost of freedom and justice. Beneath the calm facade, unrest continued to grow in the heart of the people.
In 1997, Indonesia had a very strong economy. The rupiah was getting stronger. Then, the Asian monetary crisis occurred, which affected Southeast Asian countries. Thailand was the first to be affected, followed by Indonesia. The rupiah continued to decline. Foreign investors withdrew from Indonesia, making Indonesia even more depressed. People who knew about this finally demonstrated about this monetary crisis.
At the same time, the long-standing issue of nepotism and cronyism within Suharto inner circle became more evident. The economic crisis exposed how Suharto family and allies had enriched themselves at the expense of the people. This further eroded public trust. In May 1998, massive student protests erupted across the country, especially in major cities like Jakarta, Yogyakarta, and Surabaya. Students demand reform, an end to corruption, and Suharto resignation. Tragically, the movement turned violent in some areas, leading to the death of several students and sparking riots that resulted in hundreds of deaths and widespread.
The peak of the 1998 reform conflict occurred in May 1998, where there were massive demonstrations by students. They demanded President Suharto to resign as president. Initially, they put forward demand that the government overcome the economic crisis, but their demands were ignored by the new order government. The demand for economic reform evolved into total reform and demand Suharto resignation. They also demand the abolition of the Abri Duri Fungsi, which was considered that the military dominance made the government unhealthy, and the eradication of corruption, collusion, and nepotism practices that were rampant in the government.
May 12, 1998 was the peak of the riots in which four Trisakti University students were shot during a demonstration demanding that President Suharto step down from office. Before the shooting, the students and the authorities had negotiated but did not produce good results. The security forces then fired bullets that made the students panic and run to Trisakti University to take cover. The security forces continued to fire bullets, causing casualties on the student side, and 4 students were killed in the shooting.
The incident had significant social and political consequences. One of the factors that led to the downfall of President Suharto was the May 1998 tragedy. On 21 May 1998, he resigned from office after 32 years. In addition, various changes made to the structure of government, including the abolition of the dual function of the armed forces of the Republic of Indonesia, the decentralization of power, and the creation of institutions tasked with safeguarding democracy and human rights, have encouraged political reform. However, this tragedy has left tremendous scars, especially for the victims and their families who continue to fight for justice. His resignation marked the official end of the new order.
Vice President B.J. Habibie was sworn in as the new president and began the Reformation era. The early years of Reformation were focused on democratization, decentralization, freedom of the press, and effort to combat corruption. While the road to full democratic reform was not easy, the fall of the new order was a pivotal turning point in Indonesian history, opening the door to greater civil liberties and political openness.
The 1998 Reformation in Indonesia showed the importance of people's courage in fighting for justice and democracy. It showed that authoritarian and corrupt rule cannot last forever if people unite and demand change. It also showed that great change does not happen instantly. It takes perseverance, solidarity, and collective consciousness to create a more just, transparent, and human right-respecting system of government. From this event, we also learn that maintaining democracy requires active participation, social control, and commitment to the principle of truth and justice.